the information on it later. Oh, look who's in the background.
I got a microphone in my head. Good morning. Who's that up in the far corner waving back?
Where over?
Far left.
Oh, Christian.
Hey.
So that's going live stream over there. Let me make sure it's muted. Come on.
Oh, I forgot my notes from yesterday. All right.
It's still going. There we go. And it's muted. Awesome. Put this over here. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is, what is today? I can look. February 17th. It's a Monday. It's a holiday. My bride is home. My Mason's home. He's upstairs sleeping. So, and we have a in-the-house guest today again, Miss RBP, Rhonda Bird Parker, almost Latoya's birthday. It is a green screen because if I did this, let's see here, choose virtual screen and none, ta-da!
Not very sexy.
So let's see if I get the right one. Nope, 352, 715. Not quite sure where it goes. There it is. And it was here somewhere. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name's Sean Murphy, along with a group of misfits that are here today. What we do is we have conversations every day, 7 days a week, to make sure we stay in our own path, to make sure we don't get lost or pulled back into the average, because I believe we're all a little above average. We're definitely abnormal in that world out there, and we decide that we want a little bit more of what we want and less of what we don't. So this is a community of individuals who have decided to get up at crazy hours and have conversations to make the world just a little bit better. And it's okay if we start with our own. Fair enough? So that being said, anybody have any questions? If you've watched, the views have gone up a lot on the previous videos when we talked about the self-esteem. We did two parts, episode 357 and 358 were episodes on self-esteem that kind of just, they hit you right between the eyes. And if you're not familiar with the YouTube channel, you can go to youtube.com/mentor2mentor. Anybody have any questions on that before I dive into the notes from this weekend? And if you do have some notes as you're going through yours, feel free to raise your hand and we'll have a conversation about it. But what I'm going to do now for probably the next 30 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, is have a conversation, continue on my notes from the Gig Summit. So Saturday, we've got about 17 pages of notes and we got through a page and a half. So let's see here. Let me find Gig Summit. Okay. We ended on who's your 10%? Here's a question for you. And again, this isn't how the information was delivered. It was how a conversation happens, and it's the way my brain works to hear the concept, to hear the dialogue, to hear the description. And then the way my brain works is that what's the question that turns that statement, rather than me telling somebody, asking them, saying something that most people have issues with something, I ask the question to create a dialogue, to create a conversation. I'm not here to give you information. I'm here to help you awaken that side and that part of you that says, I want more, that's the part that's listening this morning. Then I'm helping you wake the part up that says, I want to do more. And the reason I do that with you on this call is because if I do that with you, you'll understand how to do it with your prospects. Because prospects aren't looking for more information. They've got enough information. They've got enough information to get them exactly where they want to be. Oh, how important it is to focus on the end. So, Shammy, here's going to be a silly question. Listen carefully. When does the end result happen? So Shammy asked, I've been wanting to ask with self-image, how important is it to focus on the end result or of what we want. So here's the tough question. When does the end result show up?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. That's kind of where I'm, because I don't, what's, like you're saying, what's the end result? How can I focus on the end
No, no,
result
no.
if
Listen carefully. Listen carefully to the question.
when does it happen?
Yeah. When can it happen? Let me make it easier. When's the only time it can happen? Let me make it even easier. Now.
So, yeah, okay.
The only time it can happen is now. I don't care if it's 4 years from now, because 4 years from now, it's still going to be what?
Now.
Now.
I hear a lot of people mention like, oh, focus on the end result, and that to me is kind of difficult, and kind of because of that,
because they haven't listened to their heart either. Listen, the only way people can train, listen, 1% of the population think, 2% think they think, the other 97% would rather die than think. So when you ask somebody, what do you think? And they say not much, it's the first time they're telling the truth. So when people are saying you got to focus on the end result, what is the end result? When would the end result happen? It can only happen when? Now. So let me ask you this. When they wanted to crucify Jesus, when did they crucify him? They put him on a cross. That was the end result. But when did they decide to crucify him? He wasn't on a cross yet. When you decide to quit, you decided to quit long before the action of quitting. You decided to get started long before the action of getting started. You follow me? When I got married to my bride, we had an engagement time. We were, for all intents and purposes, you're married. You just haven't filed the paperwork. And when you want to get a divorce, when do you get a divorce? You're already divorced in your mind. So you can only, all of these things that we're looking for, the end result can only be now. This is why they say focus on the end result. But what they don't know, you know why 97% of the people fall short of focusing on their end result is because nobody tells them this little simple thing. Your end result is happening right now. And when you decide to be the self-image that you want, do me a favor, sit up a little taller where you're at. Changes your whole body chemistry, doesn't it?
Yes.
See, even right now. So right now, this beautiful, and you know I love you, so please hear my words. This beautiful, sexy, amazing young woman with this incredible hair that most people want to die for, who consider you a wild success just because when they see your hair, they go, oh my gosh, look at her hair. It's beautiful. The only place you can be successful is where? Now. I think that's my bride's phone. Can you see if it's out here? Just in the, it might be on the table there. So when we talk about this, see, this is what happens with, and I don't want to say they're doing anything harmful. Yet, why haven't they figured out? See, when they became successful, when did they become successful? Now, they're the ones telling you put the sticky notes up. They were successful before the sticky notes ever went up. That was something designed to let them physically see the success in the now. When do you put up a sticky note? Now. So when do you have success? Well, in the future. Now, I'm so happy and grateful now that. The only reason that you say that is because you have to believe it when. I'm so happy and grateful now that. Now. I'm happy and grateful. Honor before, right? Bob Proctor says, honor before December 14th. I'm happy and grateful now that I have this or more. Honor before, right? But we still all put these things in play. If you listen to the words honor before, we can have it come sooner, which means we could have it come when? Now. This is why it would be better if you asked the question that Noah St. John asks us, the affirmation, why am I so happy now? So Books, let me ask you this question. Rather than ask that question because your brain's going to answer it, the brain does two things. I love these questions. Listen, you are not taking me off topic. I don't want anyone to feel that, oh my, well, no, but I wanted to hear the other stuff. This is exactly what's supposed to be happening right when. So books, listen carefully. You asked a great question. When you ask a question, the brain does two things. It says, will this kill me? Or how fast can I recognize the pattern? But the brain will always go in search of the question. So here's my question to you. Could you come up with an answer for why you struggle with your self-image? I bet you could come up with 1,000 of them. The brain will answer them. But so if you want great success, if you want better answers, my daddy taught me this a long time ago. If you want better answers, you got to ask better. So the question is in the answer. So just take that same question, but let's change up a couple of words. Why am I so good at creating a strong self-image? Now go chew on that one. You can't be upset with answering that question. Why am I so good at creating a strong self-image? You can't be upset with that. But you can be upset, you can be mad, you can be frustrated, you can be aggravated. Why do I suck at having a good self-image? Oh, well, you want those answers alphabetically or order of importance? But now I want you to sit back. Why are you so good at it? You're new to the calls. So one of the things I've asked people to do in the past is write down 50 things they've done that are amazing in their life. What are 50 things that you've done and didn't think you could do, didn't know you could do? People are amazed at that you did do. And I'm talking about if you got to go back to simple things like I learned to walk, I learned to drive a car, I learned to talk. If you speak 2 languages or 3 languages, I speak multiple languages. Did you ever learn to dial a phone? I mean, I'm talking about the simplest of things. We sometimes, what's that thing we say? We overestimate what we can do in a year and we underestimate what we can get done in a decade. If you ask the question, why am I so good at creating a strong self-image? And you really started to answer those questions, your brain will come up with the answers to that. It's like, oh, I've got a whole bunch of answers for that one too. We got to ask ourselves better questions. Does that help? Shammy, does that help? You as well?
Thank you so much.
You bet, Books. Love you. Thank you for being here. The first thing I thought of when I opened my eyes is that it's up to me. Everything now is total in how I feel. Yeah, now. But here's the thing. The old story, listen carefully. This is going to be so key. And very few mystics teach this stuff. People who have you sit and come for satsang teach you this stuff. Network marketing professionals don't teach you this stuff. Why? Because they're trying to get you to build a business. Listen, I want you to build a business, but I don't want your business to be the company you're building. I want it to be the people you are building. I want you to take these skills that I'm teaching you and they last a lifetime. If I teach you a script, you have to be in this business model to use this script. But if I teach you how to love life, you can teach this to your grandkids and we never have to have another conversation. Do y'all get this? I'm not here to help you build your business. Your business is a part of your life. I'm here to help you build your life so that your business can flourish, your family can flourish, your society can flourish, your finances can flourish, your body can flourish, your spiritual can flourish. This isn't about building your business. It's about building people. And the first person we got to build is you. I don't need you to take care of my business. I need you to take care of your business. You bet, Julio. Love you. Kevin Torres in the house. Who's Kevin? I'd like to speak to Kevin. Well, that's Nano. The first call he was on here, I kept calling him Kevin, and everybody's like, who's this Kevin guy you're hanging out with? Uh-oh. And then Kevin told me, he goes, Sean, people call me Nano. Y'all getting this? Is this making sense? When you understand, love you, Leo. Marco. So the key is understanding that the only business you can be in is the one sitting right now in the chair or laying in the bed or driving in the car, Murphy-sized. This is your business. Your business is your life. Let them listen. I say this when I'm sitting in CEO executive boardrooms in network marketing companies. I go, when you realize the gift you've been given by your distributors, you will treat them differently. The challenge is the distributors, the owners don't know. They hear stories about somebody who was able to take their dirt floor and turn it into a regular floor. They hear stories about people who were on the verge of homelessness and their first commission check kept them from being on the streets. You know what they don't hear every morning? Are souls like you who are struggling to figure out, how do I live in my own two shoes? How do I become a better me so the next prospect I can help them become a better them? Man, if we just started making friends. My mentor said, you want $1 million? Go make 1 million friends and just tell them every year, just give me $1 on my birthday. Just $1. Don't buy me big gifts, just $1. And if you only want $500,000, tell them they got to send you 50 cents. Y'all get that? We have the chance to do that on a monthly basis, $1 million a month. This is the perfect epitome of what Jim Rohn said. You want more money? Bring more value to the marketplace. You know why your check is struggling? You're not bringing the value. You're trying to bring a comp plan. Ooh, snap. You're trying to bring a company business model. Nobody wants to join your company. Nobody wants to join my company. I promise you. Even with all the before and after pictures that they can see and they go, ooh, I want that. They know they don't. They'd have got it if they wanted it. They need somebody to inspire them to say, it's possible. How many times in your presentations, listen, you know I love you. How many times in your presentation has the prospect ever believed it's possible? How many times have you ever said it's possible in your presentation? Now, I don't know if you could do it, but it's possible. Remember, if we're having these issues with self-image, us, me included, there is no finger pointing going on here. This is a worldwide epidemic issue for anybody that's bipedal. My dog Beamish doesn't have a problem. He doesn't have any self-image issues. He doesn't. Why? Because he has the what is it? He's got the awareness. What's the word I'm looking for? No, it's a sharp intellect. He's got the intellect of a dog. Dogs aren't smart. He ain't sitting in his bed going, I wonder if anybody's going to like me today. He's not. When we think of intellect, would you like a sharp one or a dull one? I know what you're all going to type, unless you've been on my calls before. Somebody's going to go, oh, I want a sharp intellect. What happens when you have sharp things? You cut people. You cut yourself. Would you give a knife? Would you give a butcher's knife to a 3-year-old? No, why not? Because they could hurt themselves. How many of you listen? You know I love you. How many of you are sitting hurt right now in your own skin? You know how bad it is? How many of you have heard that young women out there, and maybe some young boys, but young women, because of this society of having to live their life based upon likes on Instagram or Facebook, or probably just Instagram or Snapchat, or followers, that if they don't get it or their home life is so challenging, they cut themselves? Because the pain of cutting themselves is actually a big enough distraction than the pain they were feeling. This is what society has done. This is when, because everybody says, I got to be as good as them. I want you to be as good as you. And if you haven't had anybody tell you lately that they love you, I love you. And I can love you without you taking anything away from me. The world needs you. This is a place where you can come and say, and ask your tough questions. Listen, if I don't always have the answer, but there's some dang smart people on here. I promise you, there's some people who have gone through exactly what you've gone through at another time and space. You want to talk about self-image? You look at Monique, and Monique has lost, like, I don't know, 17 small babies, like 400 pounds, 300 pounds. You want to talk about self-image? Talk to my Latino women. Where's my Latino girls out there? And all of you have dealt with some amazing things growing up in your culture. That's like bizarre to the rest of us. But it's, it's pretty common, whatever happens. This is your moment. All I'm doing is a catalyst, letting you know that somebody loves you and that I don't need to be a part of your story, but I can hear your story without your story running down your leg across the floor and up mine and us having a pity party together. You're stronger than this. You wouldn't be on this call unless you were just absolutely a beast, a whole beast. The world is needing you. It's why you show up on this call. I don't know what you do on the other calls, but on this call, you're here because there's a part of you that says, I deserve more. And I'll get that. Listen, here's the hard part, by doing less. Shami asked the question, well, where does my end result happen? Stop with the end result. I'm not asking you to go figure out the end result. I'm asking you to figure out the now. That's less. And guess what? If you figure out the now and stay in the now and be in the now, guess where you're going to be successful at? In the now. Let's do less so you can have more. Does that make sense? What are you hearing?
Oh, did I move too far away? It's a little intimidating to have a microphone right there in your face.
Can y'all hear Rhonda?
Can y'all hear me? A little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh. Y'all, I think he wants to hit me with it. I think that's the whole point of this. Can y'all hear me better now?
Yeah, that's a lot
Yes.
better.
That's a lot better. Okay.
Okay, I can turn your volume up too.
What did you ask me? What am I hearing?
Yeah, because your arms were crossed, and I know that's when you go into.
I think every time we go through something like this, I go inside. And I forget. I was actually sitting here going, as I develop and evolve and awaken and grow, I can sometimes easily slip into not realizing that I'm sitting across from someone else that's not doing it, that's not evolving, that's not growing, that's not changing. And I can forget that and forget how to speak to them. So then it kind of makes me seem cold at times and harsh. I don't know. Sometimes I have a very stinky fart face look about me. because somebody will say something and I'm over there going, what the heck? You know better than that. And they probably don't. And what are you doing? I didn't fart. I said I had a stinky fart face sometimes. I get that look. I'm getting better though. I'm getting better. So I hear, if you want to say it in network marketing terms, I wrote down your monthly income directly reflects the value you bring to people monthly. Not the product you bring to people monthly, but the value you bring to people monthly. And I think sometimes we get so busy developing ourselves that we forget that it's simply just bringing value to people, the same value every month to those people, because a lot of people are still stuck on what they first needed value in to begin with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's what businesses do. Businesses don't keep changing their product or their pitch monthly. They usually have an ad marketing campaign for 6 months to a year or even longer. And they just bring you value and remind you of the value that they bring. So personally and building a team, do I find what brings value to me daily, weekly, monthly? And do I do that for the people that are in my life? And then if I do that, I bring value to valuable people. And valuable people has to be defined. What you mean by valuable people? Valuable people could just be anybody you meet that you choose to sow into and love on. Or some people say, well, valuable people are people that are already considered valuable and you get into their circle.
Well, that's true. But the other thing about valuable people is a lot of times we need our psychic income.
Mm,
When you do your Bible study, they ain't paying you for that, but that's your psychic income.
yeah.
And so they're valuable people. Heathens are valuable people. Not saying the people that come to your Bible study.
No, but people, any people
Right.
are value if you see the value in them. So that was the next thing I wrote down is when I speak, that's what you asked. Do I say it's possible? Whatever I'm speaking on, do I communicate clearly to other people that it's possible? Whatever they're looking for, whatever they're trying to do, whatever they're wanting to do I speak possibility or do I not? Because you'll kill somebody's dream if you don't make it possible for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make it too lofty, it's not possible.
That's why it's got to be $300 to $500 a month.
Yeah. And it's got to be for them. It's got to be valuable for them in some way.
And then if you deliver, it's possible, what do they have to hear?
That they can do that.
Right? Who's done the meme on impossible is only I'm possible? The word impossible is I'm possible. How many of your presentations make them feel that it's impossible? And anything you're about to tell them is impossible until they take that word and turn it into I'm possible.
It's what I do with the word fundamental. Everyone goes, you have to have the fundamentals. And to me, it's fun and mental. It's got to be fun, but it's got to be mental also.
Mm-hmm.
That's how basketball was for me.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentals. If you don't have the fundamentals, it doesn't matter. But it was fun and mental.
And I did have the duh in it for me, but that's a whole nother story.
So when I cross my arms, that's when
you go into thought mode.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to be worried about that. I'll be going.
Because most people, that's when they shut off. And it's not that she shuts off. It's that I can't take it anymore the second. I just got to process what's going on inside. Is this helping y'all? Type in the chat if this is helping.
I can't. I got to get my eyes checked. I can't see the chat.
Well, it's a ways away. Okay. Yes, Monique. Thank you. Okay, cool.
Thanks, Monique.
So again, self-image. The challenge is that we've been working on it. I've been working on my self-image. I mean, I've got, let's just say 350 doubled is 700 hours just in this, because some of my calls have gone more than an hour and a half. A lot of them have. Well, yeah, Brianna, it is live in the now, but here's the hard part. Here's the hard part. When you look at your watch and you know you got to be somewhere in 10 minutes or you're 5 minutes late, can you ever be late again? If you live in the now, can you ever be late again? If you live in the now, can you ever be early again? If you live in the now, can you ever be frustrated again? So when you start to realize that all of this man-made stuff, clocks and calendars. Have you ever gone out to the oak tree and said, where are the nuts on the tree? I mean, this was like supposed to happen 2 hours ago. The sun really doesn't care what time it is here, but it's so precise, we can set clocks by the sun. Because the creator said, I'm going to set everything up and you're going to try to figure it out. There is only now. What's the saying go? He gave us more gifts and talents than we'll ever have. Our gift back to him is to use as many as we can, develop as many as we can. When would he like them developed?
Yeah.
It is crazy to think about, isn't it, Ashley? Listen, there's going to be an orb that shows up that provides life. If we didn't have it for like 19 hours, the world would start dying. In 19 hours, the world would start dying. How come everybody's not jumping up and down for joy every time the sun comes up? How many of us are not jumping up and down because Jupiter's staying right where the hell it's supposed to stay? Do you realize what has to happen in this universe that was created for us to be in amazement and awe of? And then in this universe that has showed up, we get mad when a freaking traffic light takes too long. Are you kidding me? Do you realize that if the Milky Way galaxy vanished from the universe, somebody on some planet we've given a number to would go, did you see that? Did you see that flash? And somebody's like, no, I didn't see nothing. They wouldn't even know we're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you're having a bad day. And you wake up and go, ugh, my stockings are ripped. Now, I understand if it's the only pair you got. But why is it the only pair you have? Because somewhere the law of attraction said you only get to have one pair. How many smiles do you have inside of you? How many heartbeats do you have left in you? How many of those are you going to waste? Do some math. I'm 54 years old. I have about 2,000 more Saturdays left. You know how many I'm going to piss away? I've got two, it becomes real clear. I've got two more summers with Mason.
Mm-hmm.
Might have him on his senior year, maybe not. As a dad, to go to the lake, to go do something. If you're going to live another 70 years and you got 18 years with your kids, how many of those days are you going to piss away? How many days are you going to be upset? If you knew, some of you have gone through your parents leaving this planet, leaving this realm. And you really focused on those last days. Listen, you know, I love you all, seriously. Why are you focusing so hard to get people to your funeral? I don't want you coming to my funeral. I mean, you can if you choose to. There'll be beer there, I promise you. It's an Irish funeral. Get them to love you now. That's why, we didn't start off this morning. Send out your 3 messages. Who are the 3 people you can go send? Go send out 30 messages today. Send out your 3 messages of love, of joy, of gratitude, of a smiley face. I don't care. Just send a smiley face. Why are we working so hard to get people to come to our funeral? Well, I want them to like me. I want them to love me now. Why would you show up at my funeral? I don't want you coming to pay respects and crying over me at my funeral. I want to cry now. I want to laugh now. I had my funeral already. It was my 50th birthday party. I had people come, and part of the thing to show up at the beach house was, you got to tell me what you love about me now. I want you to say it to me now. I want to hear it. I don't want to have to come back and hear this stuff and go, oh, that would have been so cool to hear while I was alive. I want to hear it now. Tell your kids you love them now. Tell your parents you love them now. Tell your prospects you love them now. Now that may seem weird. Me, it doesn't. When I was doing my estate planning, and I would go to somebody's house, I said, listen, I know this may sound, I'm old enough to be your kid, but I do love you guys. Whether they bought or not, I do love you guys. You have an amazing family. Thanks for making the world a better place. And you know what they'd say? We were talking about that on the ride home. We kind of love you too. And this is like weird. From spending 2 hours with them at a presentation. And you know, if somebody sets an appointment, it's they had a connection. They go, but we could love you. You're like one of our kids. And there's still people I communicate with who have never purchased from me 6 years ago. Why? Man, you got an excess of love.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this is going to hurt some folks. Why you dishing out hate? If you have an excess of love, why are you dishing out hate? Oh, well, they're not good enough, or they're not this, or they're not that. You see the shoes they were wearing? That's the shoes they got on. Maybe they don't own a mirror. Your self-image is your responsibility. Stop letting other people dictate to you what you're supposed to feel like, what you're supposed to look like. Listen, ladies, they say, what do they say? That if you stopped using makeup for a week, you know how many companies you'd put out of business? You know what industries would absolutely go just absolutely done nuts? Done. Go bankrupt in a week if you stopped using it. Not telling you to stop using it, but listen, if you're trying to dress up the beauty on the outside and the inside's like a home wreck, let's start on the inside. Okay. Does that help y'all? Would you like me to go through some notes, or does somebody else have a question on the self-image side? And that's a huge topic. We could spend the rest of our eternities talking about that. Donald Stanford said, I see Rhonda taking big notes.
Oh, yeah, I've got multiple. I guess my question would be, how are you not taking notes?
Well, Jim Rohn says a dull pencil is better than a sharp mind.
Yeah.
So some kids think that they don't need to take notes. How many books are over there?
Because I was writing down, if today was my last day, how would I live it? And then why is it considered weird to love others quickly?
Yeah.
Why does that have to be weird? When did that become weird to love others quickly?
If people walked up to him and said, Rabbi, heal me, it'd be like, well, let's get to know each other first.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, where did that come from?
That's society.
I
That's
know.
somebody wanting to sell something.
I know, but when did that all happen?
Well, the biggest thing is when it happened is when we realized we didn't speak the same language. Right?
Oh, so
Europeans,
that goes back
Germans,
way back.
versus, yeah.
But even then, love is a universal language.
It is, but who was in charge of this place for way too long?
I know.
Goofball guys. And clunk on the head. Drag them back to the cave.
So yes, Donald, I take lots and lots and lots of notes. I have lots of these.
Monique says, when you don't trust yourself, how can you trust anyone else? And the challenge is, Monique, is that they've been lured into a false sense of security that they do trust themselves. And then when somebody like me comes along and goes, wake up, and they're like, listen, there's over 2,000 people since the beginning of January that have put their email in and signed up for this workshop, these morning calls. 2,000. 73 are on. You know how much a fad self-esteem is? It's a fad. It's like the pet rock. Well, I'm going to work on it. And then I go and never, oh yeah, I had self-esteem a long time ago. I don't know what I did with that. I got it somewhere here in a box. I got it in a book somewhere. Let me see. I got it in notes somewhere. Self-esteem is with every heartbeat. Trey, you can always feel comfortable watching the replays. That's why I saved all the videos, but now I'm putting them on YouTube because it's like, just make sure the world can hear it. Let you all share it. I'd encourage you could do workshops on any one of the calls. Do a Saturday on any one of these calls with your team and start and stop the video and do your own trainings. Let me train your team by just watching the video and stop it going, what do you think he meant by that? What does that question mean to you? You could do the 2. You could take the 2 on self-esteem. I think there's the total hours between the self-esteem one. These 2 is 1 hour and 39 minutes and 49 minutes. So 2.5 hours. You could spend a month of Sundays. You could literally spend the next 4 or 5 months just taking those 2 videos, starting and stopping them and answering every question and going deep on every question. They're free trainings. They're no fee trainings. They will cost your time and energy. But what you could do to awaken your team just by watching those videos and letting me be the expert and not you, because people are going to look at you and go, your life's a bunch of bag of cats that are crazy running around. What makes you the expert?
I do have another question.
Okay.
I think I know the answer, but I still have to talk about it. So why do we allow our self-esteem to be snatched away and questioned?
Because we want to be comparison.
So addiction to approval.
And we were always told we're not good enough. And then when I come along, listen, are you okay with getting a little real? I know you are, but I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a little over a year. Have you changed?
Oh, golly.
And so if we hadn't met, where would you have been? I didn't do anything. All I did was poke the right buttons going, that's not you.
Yeah.
And you call me up and go, but wait a minute. Okay.
Well, I was a prisoner inside myself.
Yeah. But all I did was hand you the keys. What did you have to do?
I had to utilize them.
That's all I do. Every one of you is brilliant.
Yeah. That's hard to hear.
Do you hear that in her voice?
I got all choked up. That's hard to hear, even though I know it at my core.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for someone to say it to me because now it opens the door for me to hear that it's okay to be me from somebody else, because hearing it from somebody else opens the door to potential hurt, because what if that person either never says it again or says the opposite of it? So when you go through an awakening, a growth, it has to be selfish to an extent, because I can no longer let you own those words about me. I can no longer go, but Sean said I am. It has to be, I say I am. Because if I keep saying Sean says then I'm still addicted to your approval. And although I love you to death, I don't need to be addicted to your approval.
And that's the challenge with most mentors and teachers. They get you into their culture.
Oh, that's good.
You've not heard that before? Cult? Is it just the culture?
If I've heard it, it's like
it didn't sink in.
No, it didn't sink in.
So
what? Are you laughing at me or
no? So so Leo says, or is it just hard to receive it? Leo,
yeah.
Here's the part I need you to become aware of. I would encourage you to listen carefully to what I'm about to say. You will never receive it. Because where is it already?
Oh.
You can't receive it, Leo. You can only awaken it. And the challenge is that when you get into this mindset that I'm going to give you something, that's a bag of dog poop in a brown bag that you're buying. And when you open it up going, well, he's an idiot. Everything, listen, Linda, listen, everything that every one of you wants is already inside you. You can't receive anything you're looking for. You have to awaken that you already have it. And once you awaken to it, that's when your life changes. There's not a single thing you can look for that you don't already have. The reticular activating system won't let you do it, and God won't let you do it. God's like, well, I gave you everything.
That's hard to understand.
It's hard to understand, but all of this that you've become was already inside of you.
I agree. And I knew it.
But you had to have somebody who was strong enough to put up with your stuff to say that, I don't know why you keep doing that. But all of our friends who hang around us, we intimidate our friends. Listen, we intimidate our friends. Here's why. It's not the intimidation you think it is. You want to know what the intimidation is? You might change. And when you change, you got your friends going, have you lost your mind? And your mind is everything. What if Leo all of a sudden grows hair? I don't know if you can grow hair, but what if Leo grows hair and starts playing the guitar and he joins a band?
That has always been my dream.
That's awesome.
So where did that energy come from, Leo? We didn't talk about that.
I mean, besides the hair part, I've been there. Had
no,
that,
but what I'm saying is, how did I pick up on that?
I don't know.
Frequency is always there. Listen,
Right.
folks, you can pick up on this stuff if you just listen. I'm like, okay, let me say just the craziest thing that just pops into my head. Leo's going to grow hair and join a band. Well, that's what I've always wanted to do. Okay. But see, the part is, it was where that gift gets shut down is when we go, wow, that's weird. I don't think that's weird at all. I knew what you wanted because you were saying it. I'm not some psychic. I just listen. So how many of us are trying to talk somebody into our business, which is a stepping stone for them to get to their dream, but we're focusing so much on the stepping stone and they're like, I don't want to look at the stone anymore. I want to look at my dream. Just help me walk up the steps. And we keep them from doing what they want to do. Nobody wants to join our business. Nobody wants to join our business. You could have friends who don't even want it to work.
No, but they'll join a revolution. Stop it. Do y'all see his subtlety as he's... No, I didn't want it to work. I didn't want any of the crap he was doing to work.
Right.
I didn't. I wanted to feel better about who I was, and I needed a friend in my life that would spotlight my God-given abilities that I knew since I was 4 years old was there. But I didn't want any of the other business crap to work.
So how many days from January to April?
I don't know.
Ballpark, 30 to 120?
Yep.
Listen, you want to know how long it took to create enough of a relationship that she would at least try something and hope it didn't work?
It took more than that.
Over 120 hours.
Yeah, but that's not including
the other calls
or the other get-togethers.
Yes. So let's just say 200 hours of relationship time.
Quality relationship.
And you guys think you're going to do it in 45 minutes?
And then we judge our self-esteem and our ability to a 10-minute or a 45-minute sit down where we verbal diarrhea all over them and then expect them to see how great we are and want to do whatever we're doing.
Because she gave me a script that works for her and I tried to use it. And funny, I don't have long hair or pink rose.
I've got so much.
Alana, I'm going to get to you in just a second. Julio has his hand up. So Julio and then Alana. Julio, go ahead with your question.
Hey, good morning, Sean. I just wanted you to say what you said just now. I was trying to write it down. You said you can't receive anything you're looking for. It's already inside you. and you said something else.
That's why I record this stuff. But the reason is
Yeah,
that
definitely gonna.
the whole process behind that is that everything you're looking for isn't outside, it's inside. The reason that we go to events, the reason that we go to things is to trigger what's inside of us. The reason we write down notes is because that's what's inside of us.
That's what it was. That's what I wrote down on my notes on events. Is events highlight. How did I put it? It's upstairs. Events highlight the shift that needs to occur or is occurring inside yourself.
Mm-hmm. But the problem is that the ego won't let us listen for that.
Right.
It lets us listen for the rabbit that just runs across the stage, and you go, ooh, rabbit across the stage.
Yeah.
And we write down nuggets. Listen, they're not nuggets if you don't use them. How much money could you have in the bank? If I gave you $1 million, what's it worth? Absolutely nothing until you do what? You spend it. What are you spending your brain power on? Thinking how shitty you are, how too tall you are or short you are, how much your hair is crazy or not crazy. When you awaken to the greatness that exists in you, every one of you can change the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And you're pointing a finger going, well, they need to change it. You need to change it. And you need to start with your own world. Don't worry about mine.
That's why it's so important what you listen to, what you read, what you see, what you watch, what you spend time
around. And I'm
around.
talking about everything from rap music that's got cuss words in it. I'm not an old fogey that I'm not telling you, you young kids, you young whippersnappers need to be changing the way that rock and roll is going to drive you crazy. I'm talking about vibration of words.
Mm-hmm.
The words you listen to, would you say those to your baby?
Mm-mm.
Some of you might.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure you recognized me before saying, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. And then you responded back to me saying, you already are that person. And that sort of resonated and aligned with what you basically just said. So thank you. I really appreciate you answering the question.
Listen, I need you to be you.
Mm-hmm.
You be your best you, I'll be my best me. And together, it's not 1 and 1, it's 1 and 1 makes 11. It's a quantum factor of success. Exactly, Ashley. That reminds me of the Bible verse. Take out the splinters in your own eye before trying to remove the plank.
Yeah.
Take out the plank in your eye before you try to remove the splinter in somebody else's eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy. It's so easy for me to say, what's going on in your life? You don't have this going on. You got so many problems over there. But remember this, remember the fingers. If I'm pointing one finger out, how many fingers are pointing back at me?
3.
So stones to glass houses. Well, who's living in one?
Mm-hmm.
How many of you, if you ever spent any time in the green room, off stage, before stage or after stage, somebody comes off stage, there's people who won't hang around. We get up there and we see all of these, oh my gosh, they're so amazing. But they go home and tell their wife their bad names. They demean the server at the restaurant that they take you all to dinner to. Who you are speaks so loud. I don't have to hear a single word coming out of your cake hole.
Mm-hmm.
This whole idea that I'm strong enough, I'm tall enough, I'm rich, you need to listen to me. The creator of the universe sat on a cross. I don't know how, I think he's got a little bit more power than to do that. If this is what you need to do to me, then I'll sacrifice to go do this so that I can take away your sins. How many of you are trying to take away the sins of the prospect as opposed to pointing them out and throwing a stone at them? You know the sins they have? Being poor. That's a sin they want somebody to take away. They need to be absolved of their sins. It's okay to be you right now where you're at. I love you. Can we move forward? Pick up your blanket and go home. You're healed. How many of you are healing people when you have a presentation with them? Or how many of you are going, you're sick, you got leprosy, you should go over there, but get signed up with me before you leave. Press hard, it's 3 copies.
Mm-hmm.
And then you treat them like lepers. Yeah, but I don't know what to say to them. How about good morning, I love you. I hope you have an amazing day.
Mm.
Oh, that just sent that message. Jeremiah, go ahead. I see your hand up.
Good morning. First off,
Good morning.
thank you for the
Hold on a second. Jeremiah,
That's freaking
that's
awesome.
some hair, dude.
thank you.
That's some hair.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. And those glasses, those are rocking it, dude.
Thank you. Yours as well. First I want to say good morning.
Good morning.
Same thing back to you. I love you for your inspiration. My question for you I have this morning, just let me go through the notes, back to my notes. You said you put 200 hours into in a relationship and quality time, into that relationship. The problem that I'm having right now that I have figured out is that I want to help people. I'm good at helping people. I've helped a lot of people so far, but I'm now starting to get into this habit of I'm trying to get to myself more to learn who I am as a person and what's my pros and my cons in order to then help more people in the future. So my question to you is that, not necessarily the steps, but am I going in the right order with this of, trying to first learn, mentally, spiritually, and just the content of, being a student before actually being a teacher is the right way of going about it,
So I'm going to ask you to go read the book, The Giving Tree.
Giving Tree.
The Giving Tree. It's a kid's book.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to learn personal development, read The Giving Tree.
Okay.
Now you may be in tears before it's over, because The Giving Tree is about this tree who gives to this child. I'm getting emotional even just thinking about it. But at every point through the story, from its youngest capability, the tree, to the last breath of the tree, all it did was give. And every moment right now, you will never be on a path by yourself. You can be lonely, but that's a decision. So as you go through this conversation of wanting to help more people, you know what the best way to do that? What can
No.
Listen, this is very simple. Let's not make it complicated. So if I were to ask you, Jeremiah, here's how you get better at helping people. Jeremiah, what can I do for you today?
Give me knowledge, your wisdom, I would say.
And so then now I need to fulfill that need. What if you started asking people, what can I do for you today? How can I help you today? Why do we make this complicated? You don't have to go off into you don't have to go into a cave. You want to know the biggest way you could help people is let them know you're on a journey. One of the things that I do with folks when I go through experiences is I'll let people know I'm about to take a step up. I love you. We may not be on the same step anymore. We may not circle in the same time and space anymore, but I love you. And that's why I send out hundreds of messages. How many of you want to send out cards?
Oh my gosh.
I do this.
That's plenty of cards.
Well, but this is daily, dude.
I love that energy. Love that.
Look who's getting a card. Listen, if you look at the outside world, and if we were to look at the scale of who's done more for each other, the outside world would look at me and Nano and go, oh my God, you've done so much for him. It's when you realize that as much as you do for them, they do for you. When you get over yourself and get on with life, you start to love people. And I know that my world would be so much less if Nano didn't have the courage to come see me in a meeting room. If I didn't pickle his brain or make his eyes squint up when I introduced myself to him in line, not even a year ago. If there wasn't an energy inside of me that didn't trigger him going, who is this guy? None of y'all would be here.
That's crazy. I would not be here if you didn't meet him. That's so crazy.
But here's the thing. I gave all I had in line. You know how many people who, Nano could tell you how many people's hands I shook and how many people I talked to. You know how many people that are on this call right now that had access to this? The whole 2,000 people had access to this.
Mhm.
But you know who took advantage of it?
Mhm.
One little hungry kid from the hood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it was a path going to the pool that he stopped everybody and he said, y'all can go to the pool. I'm going in here because there's that guy. And you know what got me? Is he came in to say 2 words. You all know what those 2 words were? I'm going to see if somebody knows what those 2 words were. Type it in the chat if you know what the 2, there you go. That's it. That's the only reason you all are here is because somebody thanked me. You want to change the world? Go thank people.
Mhm.
My life doesn't exist unless I say thank you 100, 200 times a day. You want more good in this world? You want more good in your life? Start saying thank you. Thank you for what you have. Thank you for what you got. Because what's coming to you can't come to you till you're thankful for what you got. And everything you want is going to come out from the inside out. The best way out of your shit is to go in.
That was deep. I like that.
Y'all are brilliant. I'm so serious with this. Y'all are brilliant. You all are world changers. Why are you living in such a regional place? Expand your views, expand your horizons. You know the problem, here's the problem with first class travel. You know why it's going to be having to become less and less? Is because none of y'all want to go on a first class trip because you've already been it 1,000 times on YouTube. You can tell me what the most expensive aircraft is to fly for $35,000 with a shower in the room. When I was growing up, we didn't have that. We used to get dressed up to go to the airport because getting on a plane was like a sign of wealth, and then sitting in first class was like, hody doody doody da. Now y'all get on a plane and go, ugh. You think it's like a bus. It's a plane. You're flying in a tube at 35,000 feet. But because of awareness, because we have so much information, we are in such a comparatitis. You can look at somebody, you can type in your age, you can type in your nationality, and then you can type in the word millionaire, and there'll be somebody your age and your nationality who's a millionaire, and you're going to go, I'm not good enough.
I ain't going though.
Why are you comparing yourself to them? If you want to compare yourself, I mean, let's give our ego a little boost. Compare ourselves to all of the people who don't even have. You got an Apple Pen I'm looking at. Are you freaking kidding me?
I actually won this.
I don't care. You got one. I don't care. I don't care the story. Don't try to minimize it. You got an Apple Pen, which means you got an iPad. I don't even have an iPad. My life sucks. Oh my God, Jeremiah's got an Apple Pen. You know, I've wanted one of those for so long. I'm just going to go cry in the corner.
No, you can have one too.
There you go. That's all it is.
Isn't that the same about every moment in life? You could have a moment now too. How many times do we sit across from our prospect and we make it a meeting as opposed to an event? Do you realize when you sit across from a prospect, that moment will never, ever happen again? You're watching a lunar eclipse just at the perfect spot, something that'll never, ever happen again. You're seeing Halley's Comet. It'll never, ever happen again in your lifetime. Every 70 years, Halley's Comet comes around. I was 8 years old when I saw Halley's Comet. It was a big thing to stand out in front of the red barn with the cows mooing and at dusk and watching this thing cross this. Why are you treating your prospects like they're not a Halley's Comet? You're treating them like They're a fart in church. You don't even want to be around them. Oh God, I got to move a penny. Let me talk to this person. They're going to say no. I don't even know what. I saw them drive up in their car. What a piece of shit. What? You've got a beating heart across from you. Love it. Why are you letting them take your energy and your anger away with them? What are they taking away from you? If you're going to listen, this is going to hurt some of y'all. It's going to hurt some of y'all. Lean back so that when I swing at you, it misses you. Y'all are playing mentor and nobody's walking away with your wisdom.
Oh.
I'm going to go mentor these people. They ain't leaving with your wisdom. They're leaving with your bullshit. They're leaving with your aggravation. They're leaving with your anxiety. They're leaving with your frustration. Is that what mentors do? Is that what coaches do? No, it's not your fault, Brittany. But it is your fault now that you know. Listen, if they walk away with your anger, that's your fault. But you don't even know that. We weren't even aware that they were walking away with our frustration and our doubt about human nature, our doubt about our business model. How many of you are 100% convinced on your business model? I'm going to tell you, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you are, listen, your business model will never work. You could be 100% convinced about your business model, about your comp plan, about your upline, about your leadership. Until you're 100% convinced about human nature and loving people, your business will never work. This whole thing about prejudge. You're in the business of building people, not telling comp plans. You're talking to somebody who's an employee. How are they ever going to understand compensation plan 8 levels deep? Donald, you're the best. They get paid for how many hours they work, and you're going to talk to them about leverage and about creating a $5,000 a month check from somebody else. No wonder they think this is one of those things. The language is changing. The audience is changing. The behavior is changing. Having people become successful doesn't change. But the audience, language, and behavior changes. How many of you on this call right now, 67 people, how many of you, nothing wrong with it, please, how many of you have a tattoo? Type a T in the chat. Steph, you got enough for me and a few people. So listen, look at all of the people that have a T in the chat. Listen carefully. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but how many of you have ever prospected people going, I've partnered with a company that pays for my tattoos? Have you ever used any of that? Have any of you ever prospected with that? Does it cost? Listen, I have no idea how much it costs to get a tattoo. Somebody type in some numbers of what it costs to get a tattoo. I have no idea. How much does it cost? $600?
$600
for a tattoo? 600? Oh, Ashley's asking the question. 1,500?
It depends on the size.
I know. But what I'm saying is that
holy moly.
But when you see like these full arm tattoos, what does that normally cost? I mean, I've seen comedians do comedy questions on it going, another 3 payments and this baby's mine.
Oh my gosh.
My
About
sleeve was
$4,000, $3,500.
yeah, my sleeve was 1,200.
Are you kidding me?
So listen.
Wow.
Would you listen? How many people? I'm going to give you gold right here. Y'all are trying to teach people how to trade. Nobody really gives a rat's patootie how to trade. But if you could say, listen, I partnered with a company that just bought this sleeve for me. How many people do you think you'd get in your business?
Every one of them.
Why are you making this so difficult? You're trying to teach people how to work a comp plan. They don't want a comp plan. They want a tattoo and go to Vegas. Speak to them about that. How many of you ever talked to somebody who's 35 to 55? You know what 35s to 55s want? They want to make sure their kids' college is paid for. I partnered with a company that's going to pay for my kids' college. I'm working on it. They told me if I get a customer once or twice a month that I'll be making $1,000 extra. You want to talk to 55 plus? They want to take care of their grandkids. Nobody wants to learn how to trade. Nobody wants to take 2 pills twice a day with some food and water.
That was gold right there.
And you see this ink? My company just paid for that. What company?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think they'd show up at a meeting to figure that shit out? Why are you trying to teach them about trading? They don't care about trading. They care about ink in Vegas.
Or fingernails and hair.
Or fingernails and hair.
Or spa day.
How many single moms out there would you say, listen, my company just paid for my spa yesterday, a full day of spa treatment. A $400 day of spa treatment, my company paid for that. Whip that ponytail.
What do they say? Are they loving that?
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, there's fire and fingernails and hair.
Whip that. They said whip that ponytail.
LaToya.
Girl, come on. I do a hair check and check the nails.
I'm 22. You want a house? Listen, I've partnered with a company. You know, if they told me if I get a couple of customers a month, that I'll be able to make my house payment. They'll take care of my mortgage. All I got to do is refer a few people to a website. You guys are trying to do it for them. How many of you go to the gym? A lot of you go to the gym. A lot of you are going to the gym. So do me a favor, lift my weights, and we're going to measure my bicep today, and then we're going to measure it again in June. You go lift all the weights for me. I want to see we're going to see if my bicep's going to get any bigger. Why are you trying to do all the work for them? They're grown. I'm going to say it. They're grown ass adults. Let them get their stuff done. Stop doing it for them. You're not their mother. You're not their father. You're their business partner. Treat them as such. But here's the hard part. You got to up your game. You got to up your game. And your game means you're going to have to go talk to more people. You can't keep trying to keep these weeds alive, hoping they're going to turn into apple trees.
Be their student. Be their student.
Absolutely. I'm your student.
Yeah. And just vice versa. I did it yesterday with a friend of mine, not about network marketing, but I was her student. And every time she spoke, she taught me what I needed to say or know or hear to be able to help her. But she ran the conversation.
You want to know why you have a presentation? Somebody type in the chat, and there's no wrong answer. I'm not going to pick on you. I'm not going to go, well, that was silly. Why do you have a presentation? Why do you do a presentation? No reason. Well, let's figure out how to. But when you sit down across from a prospect, Shami, I get it to help others, but you want to know why I have a presentation? Let me ask to educate them. You're in the wrong business. Go be a teacher, Jesse. I love you. No, I love you. I'm trying to shock you into awareness. You get paid to deliver information to your prospects. You get paid to share the plan. You get paid to change lives. No, you're in a business model where you only get paid to do 2 things. You got to know your job description. 1, find customers. 2, build leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know why I have a presentation? Listen carefully. Some heads are going to pop off here. You want to know why I have a presentation? So they can tell me how they want to get started.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So I'm not here to awaken them, Jesse. I don't want to work that hard. I'm not that good. And I love you. I love you. I'm just wanting you to hear. These are all your heart speaking. But your heart can't be heard when you're broke. What I'm saying is that when I sit down across from a presentation, when I sit down across from you, and you probably heard it from me, Shammy. I hope you did. The only reason
Yeah,
I have a
shut up.
conversation with a prospect is so they can teach me how they want to get started, which means I got to ask better questions to keep them on the path of getting started.
That's good stuff, y'all.
And here it is at the end of the hour again. Nothing happens till, listen, an hour's got to go by. If you're not meditating for an hour, you're not getting to the good stuff. This is a live meditation because there's no script here. This is meditation. Michelle, if you see here on the screen behind me over here, YouTube Mentor to Mentor, and then just look for episode 360. It'll be live. It's live right there now. Becky Jordan is on the call. I see her over there on YouTube. But youtube.com/mentor to mentor, and then look for episode 360. And I would encourage you, let your team watch it. Because if you listen, here's the hard part. And you guys do this all the time. I love you for it. But you take my message and you turn it into yours and you try to go teach it. It's like rotten eggs in the fridge. You're like, something stinks in here, but I don't know where it is. You can't do my message. You got two things. You got to make it yours. You got to spend 20 years telling it so it can become yours. But you can take my message and you can deliver it if you say it's my message. Your essence doesn't come across. I see you guys use quotes of mine and different things. It's fine. But I'm not saying this to give me credit. I'm saying it because you lose credibility. Mm-hmm. You can't go from where you're at and start using my stuff and somebody goes, oh my God, they just turned into a genius. You want to know what's going to make you a genius? Is when you start hanging around the right people. And the only way people are going to know you're hanging around the right people is if you tell them you're hanging around the right people. And guess what they're going to want to do? Hang around you because you're hanging around the right people.
That's right.
Why do you think a lot of people go to church?
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to be seen in church. They get out in the parking lot and cuss the person who cuts them off. They ain't no Christian, but they go to church because they want to be seen hanging around the right people.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Alana, you had a question for me, my love.
I did.
Or a comment. It's either way is fine.
It was a question,
okay,
and I forgot it just a little bit, but it was. I know that it was along the lines of like how. I got it. How do you like help somebody to determine? Because Ms. Rhonda has said a while back. How do you help somebody to determine whether or not they are looking to build their bank account versus develop themselves? Because, you know, in network marketing, the people that are aware that it is a comp plan and they still want to get involved in it, like, how do you, they do go hand in hand, but like, how do you help somebody to determine which one they actually want to focus on specifically? Because like me, I knew I wanted to build my bank account, but I also knew I needed to work on myself. So for the people that don't know that, how do you help them to figure that out?
So I'll let Rhonda have a conversation on it as well. But here's the first line that we were going to talk about this morning from my notes. Funny how you bring us right back to that. You ready for this one? Y'all may want to write this down or not. Does your income have issues? See, we're trying to be so slick.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to be so fancy. We're trying to make them go, oh my God, this guy's a genius. Listen, you're the genius. Mm-hmm. You want to know what makes me a genius? Is I let you answer your own questions so that when I say it's time to start, you can't tell me you ain't got time, you ain't got money.
Right. Okay.
You're going to tell me if you got all the answers. I'm going to ask you all the questions to find out if you're serious about taking care of you. Because if you're taking care of you, when you say, I don't have time, guess what I'm going to say? Time for what? Well, time to take care of my family. You don't have time to take care of your family? I'm okay with that. See, I'm okay with them showing me how silly they are.
Right.
I'm not okay with thinking I'm the one that caused their problem. See,
Say that again.
I'm not okay with them thinking I'm the one that caused their problem.
That's key.
When they say, oh, is it one of those things? I'm going to say, literally, I've said this to people when I was a real jerk. You're an idiot. Do you think I would do one of those things? Do you know my background? And these are people that know me. I've run 7 multi-million-dollar businesses, over 100 employees. Do you really think I'm an idiot?
Yeah.
What gives you the right to think that I would do one of those things? Do you really think I'm an idiot? I need to know, because we're going to find out whether this friendship moves on from today or not.
Right.
Well, no, you're not an idiot. So why would you say something like that? I've got 7 businesses. And this is when I was a real dick. I've got 7 businesses. How many do you own? Why don't you sit down, shut up, and listen to me for a second?
Yeah, don't do that.
And then I got a little softer.
Praise God. Thank you, Jesus.
But you guys don't know, there's a whole nother side of me. And the reason that I can be this loving and this caring is because I was absolutely the opposite. You want to know why my first year I did $80,000 in business? Oh, let me finish. In debt. Is because I was an asshole. I was a rich asshole, but I spent $80,000 to go get my Harvard PhD on people helping develop. And I went back to my old roots. I went back to the roots that my daddy taught me. Zig Ziglar, help enough other people get what they want, and you'll get what you want.
Yeah.
I'm not tied to your outcome, but when you get tied to your output, your income will change forever. Your input determines your output. And what you are putting into your minds, and I know this is going to sound like an old white guy from Texas. Oh, funny, I'm an old white guy from Texas. When you decide what you're going to put into your mind, from every bit of music to every bit of audio to every bit of video, I'm not saying you need to live the perfect life, but some of us need to clean up some of our things. Some of us use language that just absolutely, you wouldn't say it to your baby. Why would you say it to a friend?
All right.
I'm telling you, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say the world needs to be better and then run around and call each other names and everything. I'm just saying. I could be wrong. Probably not. But God knows I've made lots of mistakes. Does that help, Alana? So you just ask them, listen, let me ask you this. Does your income have issues? When I talk to executives, when I talk to professionals, I don't care if it's a plumber or a brain surgeon or a cardiologist. Listen, do me a favor. Just answer this question for me before we get started. If you got sick or died yesterday, could your wife do what you do? Could your wife do what you do? Could your wife do what you do? Could your wife step in? No. Then why are you dissing her that way? Why are you not taking care of your family? Oh, that's what I have insurance for. That's really, you want them to be able to survive once you're dead?
Yeah.
How long is that insurance money going to last? Is it residual? Are they going to pay her that on a monthly basis? They're going to take your entire lump sum of your insurance. They're going to pay her that every year, or is it a one lump sum? You're smarter than that. How long is that insurance money going to last? Is it going to take care of your kids and your grandkids? Why aren't you setting up a business model that takes care of your grandkids? Set up a foundation. I don't care what it is. Set up a charity where they can get the residual. But you're this smart individual who's making $700,000 a year, and if you die, it goes away. Does that really sound smart?
Mm-mm.
And you think my little $2,000 a month business or $10,000 a month business isn't worth your time. I'm going to tell you, your bride will love me a lot more than she ever thought about loving you if I can take care of your great-grandchildren.
Wow.
Some of you are worried about the watch and not worried about the life. Whew.
Wow.
Yeah, that one hit home.
That was some reality right there.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Listen, you guys are being taught scripts. I'm teaching you how to live life. And when you take care of your life, you can really call somebody out on theirs with love, like a parent, like a friend, like a good friend. There's things Rhonda called me out that you don't call me out on unless you're a good friend.
I have. That is exactly my thought right there. That giggle. I have. Am I really?
Mm-hmm.
You've never told me that.
Well, that's how good y'all are.
I do tend to do that.
Mm-hmm.
In love.
Absolutely. And here's how it starts. Don't be stupid. That's how it starts. That's like, okay, here it comes.
Maybe to you, but
well, that's my point. But that's what friends do. That's what people who care about each other to say, I'm not going to let you slip down that. We got you up. You've clawed, you've fought, you've done everything you can. You've exhausted yourself to get here. I ain't letting you go back.
Yeah, it's kind of like I see people, we're all on this mountain trying to go up this mountain. And there's some people that have their vision and they can see it. And then there's some people walk around and they're blinded and they're feeling their way through, and they're so close to the edge that I cannot stand sitting over there going, they're about to fall. They're about to fall. Oh man, they fell. I can't watch people fall. Now,
which means you got to be what?
I got to be aware, and
you got to be focused. You can't save them.
No, I can't save them. That's what I was about to say.
So you got to keep on your path.
I do, but
yes.
I'm not going to not speak and at least give them a chance to realize, hey, the edge is close. Now, if they choose to go, I don't care.
But here,
I can't stop them.
Here's the next level. You can't say anything till they ask, because otherwise they're not going to learn the lesson.
No, I can't say anything until they ask, but I can. I can say hi and I can speak and just let them know that I'm here.
Right.
And if they go, hey, am I close?
Yes.
Then I can go, hey, yeah, you are. It's just like yesterday.
How many times in network marketing do we say things like, are you happy with the income you have?
Yeah, you can't start with that.
Do you have enough free time?
Yeah, you can't start with that.
Why would we prospect to their fears?
No. You just have to notice them. And you have to see if they notice you noticing them.
Right. And do they want help? Too many of us are throwing help all over people, and they're like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, that's just verbal diarrhea to most people. No.
Brittany, go ahead with your question. And then Javala, I need to get more information on how would you start. We'll get to that in just a second. But Brittany, go ahead, Brittany.
Hey, everybody. Okay, so my question was triggered by when you were speaking about how we are not people's parents, and we have to let them know, like, hey, you're a grown adult, you can do this. Because with my team or with my group, my family, sometimes I kind of feel like the matriarch of the group. Like, I'm always doing everything for them, and even when I'm like, if I'm not doing it, it doesn't get done. And I've expressed my distress so many times over and over and over, and it's like, I don't like, am I not giving them value? Like, which is so weird, because I don't know, like, we've been through a lot and they're still here with me, and it's like, okay, if you weren't, I guess I want to say attached to me, or if you didn't feel like I was genuine and honest and relatable, like, why would you still be here? Like, why are you wasting your time? What are you doing?
Because they know,
what can I do?
They know you're going to do it.
Yep.
You haven't set up the criteria. You haven't asked them what they want out of life. I know you have, but you haven't asked them the next question. So what are you going to do for it?
Yeah.
That's it. You go take care of you. My mentor taught me until your check's over 20 grand a month, you should be spending 80% of your time building your business. Not at 2 grand a month, at 20 grand a month. And then it goes from 80 to 75. You go build your business. You're in management mode. You may not be, but they see you as the management, and they need you to take care of their business. Go do your business.
I don't like that.
No, then go do your business.
Brittany, do you have kids?
No.
Well, this will still
Now remember,
resonate.
this is Brittany, who a lot of people that hang around her, remember, this is the conversation you both had. People around me are stupid.
Oh, Brittany, my girl. Yes.
So
my heart.
So I just needed to clear that up because I knew where you were going.
I love
and that
her.
wasn't going to work with Brittany because Brittany's like, everybody's just dumb. They're just stupid.
Oh, girl.
Which may be why I'm like, I always take charge because I'm like, you can't even handle it, you know, like. But
so let me tell you where that's put me.
Keyword being try.
Yeah. Let me tell you where that's put me. 2 instances, and I know you're not a mom, but you'll get the story. My daughter's room is a wreck, and I clean it all the time. And the whole time I'm cleaning it, I am telling her how she needs to clean it and why she needs to clean it, and that it just irritates the crap out of me that she ain't cleaning it.
Yeah.
And she listens, and it's clean. And can you guess what she does after I clean it?
Yeah, I get this.
She messes it back up. Here's the other thing. She has a problem with getting DVDs out and watching them. And then she just lays them on the TV console area. And she doesn't put them back in their case and put them away. And I've told her like 697,000 times to put them away. She doesn't put them away. So who puts them away? I put them away. It wasn't until I scooped up all the things in her bedroom floor, put them in a trash bag. I didn't tell her. I told her I threw them away, but I threw them in the closet, in my closet where she can't see them. And then I went into the living room and I grabbed all the DVDs, put them in the right cases, and then I stashed them in the top of the laundry room. And she looked at me in both instances crying, going, "What are you doing?" And I said, "You aren't getting any of it because you don't take care of it." And then I just quit talking and went on about my business. What do you think she does now?
Takes care of it.
You better believe it.
So how can I translate this into my business versus like, you know, I'm like, okay, hey guys, I'm at the events. Okay, I'm getting this information. Okay, hey, look at this. I'm making money. Like I'll just show them like, and they're just like, okay.
Roll on.
Okay.
Roll on, roll on, roll on, walk on, keep going. Throw some pictures up of who you're with, quote some amazing things that you learned. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And before long, they'll be like, "Where the is Brittany?"
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, "Hey, get your binoculars. I'm up here. I'm way up here. Get your binoculars out. It'll be okay."
Yeah.
So the other thing you might do as in this transition is ask them, what 2 things can I help you with today? And if they don't have an answer, you move on to the next one.
Right.
What 2 things can I help you with today? Listen, you all show up here. 61 of you are still on this call. I ask you, what can I help you with? And you come up with questions and I answer them. And the reason you'll keep coming back is because I gave you an answer. And I didn't go through my book. I wasn't tied to my presentation.
Oh, that was so good. Good job.
I can show up and say, I've got 6 books right over there, 5 books right over there, just like this, that I can go pull information from, and I can read you my notes. We didn't even get through a page and a half, and we got to the one line, and I got all of this stuff here.
Good Lord, let's not tear things up. There you go, y'all. Sitting right over here.
So if I need notes, I can go pull any one of those, and they've got 6 months worth of conversation in each one of them. I got plenty of content, but it's the context of the conversation that I said, okay, I'm going to read my notes, and somebody asked a question, and then all of a sudden we're here. I asked, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want to talk about anything? And because we're all too shy, well, I'm not going to talk on Sean's call. I'm a farm boy from Ohio with a lot of experience. I would use me.
Yeah, with a crazy East Texas mama for a friend.
Mm-hmm. Was Monique at the thing yesterday?
Was Monique it? No, what'd she
I
say?
know. Stop
Did I
making
pick up on something?
Stop making everything transactional.
Oh, Monique, you were with us and you have no idea. I can't tell you how many times Larry Thompson said the problem with network marketing is it's all transactional.
As
You know
opposed
what?
to relational.
That that is something that has been like a huge breakthrough to me, because earlier, Sean, you were talking about nails and hair and this, that, and the other, and makeup. And I used to be that person that would always have my nails done, always have my makeup done. Never would I ever be on a call like this on video with no makeup. And it's not that I don't want to look good, because I do when I have to, but
Girl, you look good.
I know I look good, honey. I know.
Yes.
But I was doing it to get a reaction. I was doing it to get acceptance. I was doing it so people would like me, because I didn't like me like this.
Yeah.
And it was when I stopped doing that everything became so much more real for me. When I speak to people, when I say I love you, when I do something nice for somebody, it's not to get anything in return. I have a best friend, okay, he's a very busy person. So it's rare that he'll respond to me right away, but I send him, I love you, I'm thinking about you, I wish you a good day. And never once do I sit there and go, I'm expecting a return.
He didn't reply.
Yeah, I don't ever say I'm expecting a return response, like a thank you or whatever. I don't, and I don't get hurt if I don't, because I'm not doing it to get anything back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting a return. I'm doing it because it makes me feel good. I'm doing it for me, not for them.
Exactly.
So it's very important.
That's huge. That's huge, Monique. That's huge. That's everything Sean's call is about.
Well, that's why she's here and
relational.
we resonate and she shows up, and we haven't met in person, but it's like if she needed something, I'm there. And I'm sure if I needed her, she'd be there, because that's just when we find those spirits that are like us, birds of a feather do flock together.
100%. And we got to get together. We got to.
Yeah, we got to.
Please.
And Christian is in town, so we all got to like connect up. Misfits unite. So yeah, we'll figure out something here.
Okay, cool.
Sean, there's an old poem. It was actually the very first thing that was ever recorded by Thomas Edison.
Okay.
That kind of summarizes Rhonda's offering to Brittany. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home, wagging their tails behind them.
It's true. Very, very true.
It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. We can learn so much in nursery rhymes. What's the other one? Row, row, row your boat. What? Gently down the stream. How many of you are going gently down the stream? Are you kicking and screaming trying to get people to like you on Instagram? So there you go. Tony, you got your mic unmuted. If you got a question, no problem. Listen. No. Not yet. Okay. Go ahead. Or not. Okay.
I'm just listening right now to the conversation.
Okay, cool. No worries. Appreciate you. Glad to have you here. Well, there you go, folks. There's an hour and 10 minutes. Anyone else? Last comments or thoughts?
Yes.
Yes, John.
Go ahead. Who?
I could
go ahead. I'll go next.
Go ahead, 412 on the phone.
Okay, John, it's Bob here.
That's what I thought.
Real quickly, yesterday you had shared, and you've said it many times, doing less to do more, or something very close to that. And in my mind, I'm translating that into do less of things that aren't important so you can do more impactful things. Is that what you're getting at with that line?
So absolutely. And so let's just take it to your world. Somebody calls you out to the farm. You're going to go work on the horse, but they got a dog that won't stop barking. and it's affecting your ability to work with the horse. So you can either try to work with the horse and complain about the dog, or ask them to remove the dog. And it's so that you can do less, because otherwise you're trying to take care of the horse, trying to take care of the dog, trying to take care of the owner. It's like, let me do what I do well. And if we do what we do well, and if we learn that our core thing that we want to get out of our heart is helping people, and you do that by being able to work on the horse that they love or spent a lot of money on. And some people shouldn't own the horse they have. I get that. But you're going to make their life better by making the horse better. So you do less by just doing what you do so you can do more of it. Yes, you're absolutely right. Stop doing the things that are confusion.
But I just wanted to make sure. I appreciate that.
Yep. I mean, it's just, we're trying to teach a comp plan. In your first presentation, you're trying to teach a comp plan, the industry, you're this. Do less. Find out if they love themselves enough to take care of themselves today and not tomorrow. Can you just listen? Can we have a conversation that'll last the rest of our lives? As opposed to a transaction? I got to know. I get to go on to the next one.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Cool. Love you, brother. LaToya.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I just want to thank you for these calls. Sean, I'm telling you right now, it keeps me in creative mode. I'm pretty sure that's for all of us. And you know what? Oh, another thing too, an update on my left hand, like right with my non-dominant hand. I'm telling you, like I've been noticing a lot of changes. Also because I made a decision that I put the intention that I was expecting change, right? So now I noticed that doing this and doing things differently is opening up other doors for me to do things differently. And even with these calls, it keeps me in that creative mode to stay in that moment. Like, okay, the new things are how I could elevate on another level. And I thank you so much, Sean, for being part of the growth.
It's my privilege, LaToya. Thank you. We need you to continue on that path. The world needs you.
Absolutely. And thank you once again. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
You too. We get to go to a mastermind today with some of the industry icons. We're talking $100 million earners. We're talking the names that help build this industry, the number one income earners in their companies. And it's because Larry's decided to put together this mastermind community.
Yeah.
So we get to go spend 8 hours in that today.
Yeah, it's a room that this one right here, in all sense and purposes, should never even be in. But God has opened doors. And it's going to be freaking amazing. Ah!
Yep. Yeah, we had a community like this, and this one will probably be bigger than it. But about 3 years ago, we had one of these meetings at somebody's house. And the leadership that was in there, we counted up all of the incomes between the 18 of us, 19 of us. It was over $1 billion in income.
Oh.
Income, not sales, income. So, it's going to be a good day. Okay, y'all. And I will take notes, and maybe we'll get to those because we got a lot of notes. So I'm going to read you a couple of these just to let you go before we head off. Does your income have issues? Does your lifestyle have issues? How much of your life is spent in competition?
Oh.
Okay, so this one I put out on Facebook. What box have you been put in? What box have you put yourself in? What are the labels you wear that were put on you by somebody else? What have you given up on? What decisions have you stopped working on? Who has walked away from you? Who have you walked away from? What is your default position? What default position is no longer acceptable to you or to your family? What do you think about? What's a life lesson you learned that guides your life? What are you remembering about your future? What's a recent problem that you solved? What does the unsolved problem turn into? Your current life. So I'll leave you on those. You can watch the recording.
That's just terrible. That's mean. Y'all, that was mean that he leaves us like that.
We'll talk more about it
You
tomorrow.
can't leave us like that.
Right. Come on.
So here's all of those things. Those are all questions that if those are the first time you've heard them, I apologize. But if those are the first time you've heard them, I'm so glad you heard them from me.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's why. You now get to spend the rest of your days answering those. You don't need anything else. You don't need to buy one more CD. You don't need to buy one more book, one more tape. You don't need to go to one more event to learn. You need to go to Awaken and answer those questions. You don't go to an event to learn. You go to an event to awaken. Because if you're going to learn, it means you don't know it. Everything you need is already inside of you. Go to listen to awaken, not to learn, because if you learn, that means you put the gold in somebody else's hand. You have all of the gold. We're going to go to this event today, and we're going to hear people talk about their experiences. Their experiences are not going to direct my future. They're going to give me the chance to shape my own future. I have to turn it into my gold. I can't write down their nuggets and go, I learned so much. We know a lot of broke people who are very smart, who have learned everything, but they got no money, they got no time, they got no family. This is about you taking care of you today in this moment. Do less, be more. Ooh, love y'all.
Love y'all.
I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Profits, and I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all tell each other you love yourselves.
Love you all.
Love you guys.
Love you
I love you
guys.
all and thank you.
Love you
Y'all.
guys.
You guys have
Love you guys. Have a blessed day.
Bye.
Okay. Love y'all. Bye for now.
All right, everybody.